having you here, because often when a friend is on the show, I feel bad bringing it up because, you know, you kind of think life has moved on, and da-da-da. But you do bring it up. You do recreate things on your socials, like the famous turkey scene. This, yeah. So you decided to really do this.
Anything for the gram. Yes, I did put... Oh, God, I'm such an idiot. I don't... You know, people say, well, aren't you supposed to be kind of mysterious or aloof or... It's like, isn't Instagram just to be yourself? So I'm pretty goofy. But yes, I decided it was Thanksgiving. I was going to put a turkey on my head, and that's not a real turkey. I didn't know where to get one like that, so I did, excuse me to all the vegans, I put a real turkey on my head. Oh my God.
We've got the clip.
When I tell you it was so gross.
You tell us while we watch this, because it's not as easy as you'd think.
No.
Here we go. Obviously, vegan discretion advised. So now, what have you put on your head?
A towel, and then I also had like a little plastic.
Oh, girl.
Oh, no. There's music playing. It looked better than this one. And then you can't hear talking. I was everything.
But now you had a special butcher in to help.
Okay, so in Scream, there's a girl named Melissa Barrera, who I love, and we became really good friends. She came over with her husband, who's a butcher. That's what it looked like afterwards, and I ate it, so there you go. He cut it so it fit over my head. Put its music, there were some bits around it, but it was gross.
Because even a fresh turkey is not going to smell very nice in there.
Yeah, it wasn't even the smell, it was just horrible in all ways. I don't know what to do.
By the way, I'm supposed to say at this point, don't try that at home. Seriously, yeah.
Well, don't.
No, you really don't, yeah.
I thought I was going to try to do the dance. I don't know if I actually did it.
Yeah.
I think you might have gotten sidetracked. There was a lot of things to multitask with that one. No.
Did anyone else eat the turkey after that?
We had another one that looked better, and yes, whoever needed to had to eat that one.
Would have been a very interesting way to die, though, wouldn't it? I mean, I'm so glad you didn't, though. Asphyxiation by turkey.
What a story.
That's only in the history of the world.
Yeah, that would have been a good news headline, and in sad news. And now we're talking backstage. We were taking the selfie backstage because Jennifer Aniston, you know, we joke about this thing, but you did actually break the internet.
I broke it.
You genuinely did, didn't you?
I guess I genuinely did, yes.
So
not intentionally.
Yeah, but you know Instagram, Julie.
Yes, yes.
So Jennifer joined Instagram and broke it. Well, no, it's true.
That's how I like to enter.
Would you mind explaining that? Because
you're asking the wrong person.
Oh, okay.
But, I think what happened was too many people at one time. I think it just got clogged. I don't really. There's somebody else, Reese.
Yeah.
What happened?
Well, no, you got to 1 million followers faster than anyone in history. That's what you did.
That's what.
Yeah, and so people couldn't. I think people couldn't like or follow things because everyone was just following you at the same time. I think that's what happened.
I don't know.
But no, but you started big. You started your very first post, of course, a Friends reunion. There you all are. And was that like an old picture you've been saving? Kind of, I'm going to break Instagram one day.
Oh, this is my weapon.
Or was that a recent thing?
That's a recent picture.
Because, I mean, you guys, whenever any of you are here, you kind of think, oh, I can't ask them about a Friends reunion. But this is you fanning the flames.
Well, this is us. Well, no, this is just we love to get together whenever we can because David lives in New York and Matt's working. I mean, the girls we're very good about keeping up with our time together. But so when that happens, we just have so much fun.
And of course, Reese, you were part of the Friends family.
Literally family.
Yes, your sister.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I got, there was such a privilege. I got to play her sister when I was...
Oh, that's...
23 years old, yeah.
And what's so odd is that you were saying in an interview somewhere that you hadn't acted in front of an audience before.
Right, and I never have since.
We did. We broke it.
Really?
We broke her.
Like the Instagram.
She broke the Instagram, and then she also broke me.
Broke her will to do live
No, it was just terrifying. It was terrifying having to say jokes, and I would always look at Jen and go, I'm messing up. And
But didn't it get more, like, once you were out there for a bit, didn't it start to become more fun?
No.
But this is all right, isn't it? These are friendly peeps.
This is different, and I get to be myself and just watch you drink wine, which is just delightful.
Cheers.
By the way, wine with ice is I like that.
Well, because it makes the sound of a cocktail.
It does. Why don't you just then have a cocktail?
I like wine.
Oh.
But with the sound of a cocktail.
I get it.
Yeah, that's what I like. Because famously, you have this ongoing thing with Brad Pitt. So
I've done some terrible things to Brad. Wait, Brad's done some terrible things to me, too.
So how did it start?
I don't remember how. We were doing Ocean's 11, I think it was the first one. And I don't remember what it was. I think initially, one of my favorite things is to get those things that go around your license plate or a bumper sticker, because you never go to the back of your car and look, and put it on people's cars, because it's funny and they can ride around, you know, with some horrible, you know, embarrassing bumper sticker. And I found a bumper sticker in the shape of a pot plant that said cops. I put it on the back of his car because I figured there's no way you don't get pulled over. I mean, there's no way. And he got pulled over. And then he went on, I think, Letterman and said, you know, Letterman asked him when he and Angie would get married, and he said, when George can legally marry in the United States. He didn't want to... And it just kept going back and forth with that for a while. And then it was, I had stationery made up with his name, and then I would send letters to other actors from Brad Pitt. I sent Meryl Streep a letter from Brad where I got a big thing of CDs that had, it was a dialect coach. And he had like every dialect, you know, Gaelic, Yiddish, every dialect you could possibly, and it's a huge thing. And I sent it to her with a note from Brad that said, you know, I hear you're going to be doing the Iron Lady soon. This guy helped me with my dialect in Troy or something ridiculous, right? You know, here, I thought maybe this would help. And I sent it to Meryl, and, you know, she's very confused. I understand. And I sent letters to lots and lots of people from Brad.
And is that you don't tell either of them?
I don't tell either, no. I later, like a year or 2 years later, I let them know, and then they're like, are you kidding me? I'm doing one now that I can't tell you about, but in a year you're going to hear that I've been arrested. And I'm not kidding, because I think I've crossed the line.
Oh, no. That's so excited.
Yeah, it's exciting. I have a wife, she's a barrister, I'll be fine.
But Cher, you are going to be played by someone soon.
Yes.
So there's a
Say
movie...
it's me. Please say it's me.
It's you.
Okay.
Finally.
Have you cast... Oh, very good.
Thank you.
Have you...
I'm seeing that movie.
You didn't even do the hair. It was very good.
Sometimes it gets caught in your lip gloss.
Have you cast the person yet?
No. It's very... Can I tell you something? We're having the hardest time with this film because I've lived too long and done too much, and nobody seems to be able to squeeze it in. Tom, you could help me. No one seems to be able to... Because he has a big production company.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And he's been my boss once already.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
Yep,
yes.
Mamma Mia.
So, yeah, so
I say as long as whoever it is sings Fernando, it'll be fine.
Okay. I'm going to do all the music because I don't like it when people try to imitate people. It kind of takes you away from the moment. But
Sometimes, not all the time.
why did you do that?
No, I'm just saying.
No.
It might be fine when someone playing Bob Dylan does it.
Probably. You saved me.
Yeah.
You saved me.
Well, all right.
Might be.
It'll probably be fine.
But not you, because you're Cher, of course.
Yeah.
Julia.
You're Cher, my God. How do you stand yourself?
I'm a pain in the ass.
But have you started auditioning people?
No, babe, we haven't even finished the script. One script from like one of my favorite writers, brilliant, just said, Cher, I can't get it. I've been trying and trying, but I just can't put it all together. I don't know how, I can't put it together.
Maybe make it a big fancy like HBO series.
Miniseries.
Yeah.
Maxi series.
Yeah, well, I don't think so.
No, okay. I mean, I was just trying to help.
I believe we're shooting the final scene of the movie right now. We get together, try that out.
And tell me this, superhero movie, obviously, stunts a go-go. So did you do many of the stunts yourselves?
She does quite a lot. She likes being in a harness. I mean, it's wonderful to watch her. Me, not so much. I love the stunt woman. Love her.
I thought maybe you were gonna like it more because I was like, oh, she hasn't done this before. And you know, I want to be 20 feet up and like spun around like a propeller. And then Octavia, literally, we had her in her harness the first day. Her toes were not off the ground yet. Like she's literally still touching the ground, and she was like, oh, 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 oh. And we're like, Octavia, you're still on the ground. She's like, not for me, not for me.
Because in terms of stunts, like Nick Mohammed in Intelligence, your sitcom, like you're a computer geek, so presumably any stunt work you can do.
Oh, you'd think so. I had to fall off a chair and they got a stunt person in to do it. And it was so lame. It was so lame. And I was desperate to do it, but they just were like, no, we've got to get someone in to do it. And there was a bit where I had to look as if I'd been tasered. And I think I did it for some of the close-up, but for most of it, they were like, no, we'll get a stunt person to do it. And I think it's probably because my acting was so bad.
No, it's work. It's work for people. Because Frank, what's the story with you and David Baddiel? You did a fight scene.
Well, David Baddiel and I had to do a scene where he hit me on the head with a big monkey wrench. And I arrived expecting this rubber monkey wrench, but they just had a normal, heavy piece of iron. And they said, it's fine, Dave's going to swing it and he'll stop about 4 inches from your head. I love David. We were in, we've been in a double act. We live in the same road still. He's like a brother to me, but I know he's incapable of those kind of motor skills. And I said, if we do this, he's going to hit me on the head. And they all went, and he got quite upset and said, you're making me sound, stupid. And I felt bad, and I said, OK, we'll do it. And we did it. Take one, he smacked me across the head. And the pain of that knock on the head was, I must say, helped by the joy of having been so correct.
But now, so that's the beginning, where you just sat in the chair. So it's easy, you just sat in the chair. But then it takes off.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you're quite physical and acrobatic in it.
I had to be, and I was terrified. And I had some choreographers. And so you have to make it look easy, but sometimes you need strength in your body that I don't have because I don't work out, and you have to be very precise. And one time we were rehearsing, and I had to put my legs in a specific position and hard, and I was upside down, and I forgot it was coming because when you're upside down, you get very confused. And I didn't do that, and so I was going down, head down, and he tried to grab me, but he grabbed my sweatpants, and then I couldn't remember if I had underwear or not. And they were coming off. And so I was holding on to my sweatpants. He's like, put your hands on the floor. And I'm like, And finally, some people came to my rescue and took me, but I was this close from the ground. Holding on to what half of my pants were down and half were... I was holding on to life.
Maybe your mother, talking of children, your mother, what did she run? Was it a hair salon or a beauty salon?
Yeah, beauty salon. Yeah. Actually, that was like my first acting school because I would sit in front of the women and my mother pretending to be doing my homework, but behind my books, I was just spying and observing all these women confessing to my mother their secrets. And it was fascinating for me, their behavior. And I don't know, I really consider it my first acting school.
But you got skills as well. I mean, you do hair, don't you?
I try to cut everybody's hair. Anyone who let me, I would cut their hair. Or
Penelope, you can cut my hair.
Have you ever done Pedro's?
No.
No, he doesn't let me.
Oh, why did you let her cut your hair?
Because the last time she cut it, it looked like this. Lionel Blair cut.
But is it true your good friend Salma Hayek, you do her hair?
No, I am very close to her. One time she called me and said, the lights are off in my house and also the makeup artist and the hairdresser cannot come and I have a premiere in 2 hours. So come and do it in the dark. So I put candles, do the hair, the makeup. She was happy with the result. So.
But also you do beauty treatments, not just haircuts, you do treatments.
Oh, that's because you know that I washed her legs once when we were in Mexico.
Yes. Is there video evidence of this, or you washed her legs once?
I mean, you don't do that, and if you know how to do it, you do it to your friends.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You've been in a few films.
Yes.
And Paul together. So are you friends in life, or is it just a work thing?
We are very intimate in life.
Okay.
Very good friends. Yes, very good friends in real life.
Good.
Yes.
Good.
It feels weird to be sitting here
On a
next
talk
to you,
show with
on a
you,
talk show,
yeah.
and I have nothing. We have nothing to do with each other's film.
No, we have nothing to do with each other. I specifically want his movie to fail, which is what's weird.
It's war.
It is. There's no business
It
here.
won't fail.
I don't think it will.
I don't
That's
think
why
it
it's
will.
okay.
Because Paul and Martin, you're in the film together, so presumably you know each other.
No.
I've been a big fan of Martin's for many years, and I was so excited to meet you. But it's a little strange because I'm meeting you now for the very first time, sitting next to you on this show.
Apparently, we're in the same film. You wouldn't necessarily know that.
But was the shoot so long that your paths never crossed, or?
Yeah. I mean, my path didn't cross with an awful lot of people in that film. I saw it for the first time today, and would you two listen, or...?
Sorry, they were distracted by booze. They were like, oh, there's a beer here.
I know this story. I just...
We welcome you into our country. Yes, no,
as you were saying.
Yeah, this will help me sleep. Now, here's the thing, Courtney Cox, you have, I believe, been learning, or have you just been learning to play the piano, or have you been learning for a long time?
No, I'd say especially during lockdown is when it really... I mean, my hobbies went crazy, but that was one that I tried pretty hard on.
And are you one of those people who... Did you have a piano in any kind of interior design element in your house, and then you kind of thought, oh, I better learn to play that?
No, I got a piano because I wanted to learn.
Oh, OK.
Yeah, yeah.
And we've got... you've shared this clip of you playing with some very famous people, Elton and Ed Sheeran among them. Let's have a look. Here we go.
Lisa Kudrow, this is for you. 1, 2, 3, Hold me closer, Tony Dancer. Down the hill that's on the highway.
Oh, beautiful. Was anyone else a bit sad when they didn't do Smelly Cat? I really thought we were going for Smelly Cat. Did you learn that specially?
Okay, so Ed and I are friends, and I've known him for a long time. He always stays at my house when he comes into town, and he actually introduced me to Johnny, my boyfriend. And he said, is it okay if Elton comes over for dinner? I'm like, what? Oh, my God, what? He said, you know, maybe we can get him to do a post. Yeah. And you can play that song. I was like, well, I don't know how to play it. And I called my piano teacher. I was like, you have to come over right now. And I had 20 minutes before Elton got there. He taught me how to play it. I only learned that part, which if you keep watching the posts, it was all of a sudden I was like, I can't do this anymore. And Elton, okay, so anyway, the piano teacher, Joel, is walking out as Elton's walking in. And later on that night, Ed said, do you mind doing this? He's like, sure. So I started playing. He had his arm around me, and I was like, oh, my God, first of all, you're kind of holding my arm. And at the same time, I just wanted to put my arms around him because I love him. Anyway, it was the scariest, most nerve-wracking I've ever been, and it was a thrill of my life.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah, because...
Can you imagine?
Well, he can. He can imagine. He doesn't have to imagine. Actually happened.
No, I not.
Because did you play any piano before Rocket Man?
No. And to be honest, I didn't really play that much in Rocket Man. I tried.
You told me you learned how to play all those songs.
I'll
you sat
play
here.
Anything after a couple of martinis. No, I did do quite a lot of learning and prep, and I do little bits in the movie, but only little sections. But
Well, maybe...
It's quite intimidating when he walks in, isn't it?
Yeah.
Still...
Maybe we do something together. We can
I
play.
was actually just thinking, I feel like you, me, and Elton should be BFFs, just the three of us.
By the way,
And we could, you know, go on, like, trips and...
I love it.
I know he's in the middle of a world tour, but I think if we proposed it to him, I think he'd sack it off.
I say let's do it.
Good times. Because you have stayed friends with Elton.
I have, yeah. It's still quite... I mean, you know, I've known him for quite a few years now, but it's still... And, I mean, it must be weird for him that people... I still go... When he calls and he goes, hello, and you go... Fucking hell. You know, it is... I mean, you're friends with Elton too.
But no, but it's still... But,
it is weird, isn't it?
Yes.
You just can't get used to it. And he does a really lovely job. I mean, aside from the fact he's always dripping in glitter and gold, he does a good job of kind of, you know, levelling the playing field. But
and hasn't he given you a lovely name, a nickname?
Yeah, I do have that honour. I think, like, in the 70s, it was a bit of a thing that he did, is he gave his friends drag names, and I did get one in about 2018, 2019. And as I said to you earlier, I have a camper van, and Elton thought that was really, really funny. And I'm Welsh, and so he called me Blodwyn Camper Van. And he still signs emails, Dear Blodwyn, where the fuck are you? You haven't picked up your phone.
I love that. Camper van.
Camper van.
Yeah.
Stresses and vans.
Yeah, for the Welsh, for the Welsh. Talking of unlikely encounters, because this was all in the papers, because your little...
Oh, no, mate, come on.
Well, just because what we read in the papers...
I got cut up.
Yeah.
I got cut up.
So this was the... Was it...
You think rugged, right?
I see that. I can't wait to hear that.
So was it Beatrice or Eugenie?
Oh, mate, I can't talk about it.
Oh, can you not talk about it? Oh, no, OK, sorry, I'll shut up.
Was it a hat accident?
It was James Blunt. It was James Blunt trying to get his pop career back.
He tried to kill you. How did it end up in the papers?
I don't know. There wasn't a lot of people there that night.
I have no idea.
Yeah, I really
So you can't tell the story.
I can't tell the story. You can say allegedly what happened.
OK, allegedly, one of the princesses, Eugenie or Beatrice, one of them, and James Blunt and Ed Sheeran were in a room, presumably in a palace, and James Blunt allegedly wanted to be knighted. Is that a euphemism? And so one of the princesses found a handy sword to knight him. Did you not read this in the papers?
Well, I didn't know James Blunt was involved. Up to that point,
Anyway, there was a bit of sword play, and Ed Sheeran got cut in the face. Is that right?
No. Do you know what? I have no idea how that story came out. I have no idea, because, like, it was so tight. It was, and, like, for, like, 2 weeks afterwards, I had this huge gash on my face, and people would be like, oh, what happened? You'd be like, oh, I fell. And then suddenly it came out. The alleged...
No. We'll stop. How you reacted to kind of certainly becoming, I guess, famous in America? That if you go to America now, people know who you are. Do you like it?
Sometimes they do. Sometimes. And
In
people are
nice
very nice
places.
and high. I love that. That doesn't happen here. That sometimes, because anytime I've gone to New York, I've walked everywhere because I love it. And somebody will come up and kind of high-five you in the street. I love that. Quite shocking, but I like it.
That doesn't happen here.
But the other day, I was with my grandson, who, as you know, looks very like Ed Sheeran.
Yes.
And a group of people with him, and they said, may we have a photo? And I said, yes, of course. They said, no, not you.
Because actually, there's that weird connection with you and Ed Sheeran.
Ed Sheeran slept on my couch for 6 weeks before he was famous.
But how does that happen?
Ed Sheeran, I was doing a radio show in L.A. and it was a satellite show, and he knew that we do music, so he comes to my radio show. Hello, James, just trying to get my music. You know, we'd love to hear my music, whatever. I was like, well, sure, whatever, let me hear it. So he lets me hear his music. Comes to my crib, and now I got the bigger crib, and the studio is incredibly nice because of the Kanye song. So he plays, I'm like, you're incredible. So he starts, I said, listen, I know you don't have anywhere to go, just chill here. I was giving him food. My daughter was like, who do you have over here now? Because I would always have people, I would always, like, champion the artist.
Yeah.
And so I said, listen, man, I think you got the goods, but I got to check you out, though. So I took him down to this show that I was doing, a live night every Monday in L.A., downtown L.A., and it was like 800 black people, all black, like just the best musicians who plays, you know, the guitar for Sting, and I mean the level of the music is here. And there was a dude up there rapping, and he was sweating, and he was black. And then another girl, she came up and she sung, and she was black, and they was singing blackness. It was incredible. And so all of a sudden I say, ladies and gentlemen, Ed Sheeran. He pops out, with a little red hair and a ukulele. And one of my homies, who's an incredible guitarist, but he's just true to the music. It came from us. This is black, blackity black, right? And he says, yo, Fox, come on, man. What's this, man? What's this? What you doing to the room right now, man? You gotta respect the room. And it was just like a movie. I said, well, let's see what the kid has. And he went out there on that ukulele, got a standing ovation in 12 minutes.
Wow.
And the rest was history.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah.
Wow. Cheers to him, cheers to you. And yourself and Ben Affleck, the night of the winning Oscars and everything, because I think we just saw a picture. There you are. Because how old are you there?
I'm 27 and Ben's 25.
Well, you look even younger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but, you know, funnily enough, we'd been in the business for a while then. I mean, I got in the union when I was 16, so, I mean, that's 11 years after getting in the union.
But that still must be such a kind of mind thing.
Yeah, I mean, it took a really long time to just process everything. I mean, things happen so fast, you know. Even though we'd been hanging around Hollywood for a long time, and that movie, Good Will Hunting, you know, was 5 years in the making. So it happened kind of in slow motion for us. We were anxious to get it going. Things weren't moving fast enough. But once all of that happened kind of overnight.
That night must have sent you into a tailspin. Did you go crazy that actual night? Did you go nuts?
Actually, I remember very clearly going back with my girlfriend at the time, and we went to her house, and she went to sleep, and seriously, I couldn't. Well, I had a ponytail back then. But I couldn't sleep. I was just kind of still buzzing and was sitting there, and I remember very clearly looking at that award and thinking very, very clearly. Am I allowed to say a four-letter word on this show?
Sure.
I literally looked at it. I was alone with it, and I said to myself, "Thank God I didn't f*** anybody over for this." And I suddenly had this kind of thing wash over me where I thought, imagine chasing that and not getting it, and getting it finally in your 80s or your 90s with all of life behind you, and realizing what an unbelievable waste of your, you know what I mean? Because it's got to be, you know what I mean? It's not, it
can't be good enough.
Right. It can't fill you up. It will never, if that's a hole that you have, that won't fill it, right? And I felt so, like, blessed to have that awareness at 27.
To learn it at that age.
To learn it, and because I wouldn't have known it unless I knew it, you know what I mean?
You're right, like, imagine figuring it out at 80. That would be...
How hard, and I literally, like, my heart broke for a second. It's like I imagined another one of me, you know, an old man, kind of going like, oh my God, where did my life go? What have I done? And then it's over, you know?
And what was the phrase? There was a phrase that you heard. Was it in a movie you heard a phrase? There goes...
Oh, yeah. I said it to my mother. This is funny. I said, in the movie The Natural, Robert Redford, and it's based on something the baseball player Ted Williams once said. But so his character, Roy Hobbs, in The Natural says, all I want is to walk down the street, you know, and when I walk down the street for people to say, there goes Roy Hobbs, the best that ever was. And my mother, and I loved that movie, and I loved Robert Redford, and my mother asked me one day, well, what is it that you want, Matthew? What do you? And I said, look, all I want is to walk down the street someday and have people say, there goes Matt Damon, the best that ever was. And she goes, that is the most disgusting, self-involved thing I've ever heard come out of your mouth.
Ben, when Matt Damon, he's been here, and he talked about the night you won the Oscar for Good Will Hunting, and he has a kind of particular take on it. And
I don't look very happy in that particular photograph. I
You don't
assure
look
you I
thrilled.
was.
He looks
Matt
thrilled.
looks drunk.
But looking back, do you kind of rejoice that you had that amazing success so early on, or does a bit of you kind of not regret it, but sort of, I don't know, think it was a bit of a curse?
I mean, I don't think it was a curse, but I couldn't really appreciate it. I mean, it was very hallucinatory. It was like, I don't know if you've ever been in a traffic accident, but there's that moment where you go, oh my God, I'm gonna crash into this wall over here. You know, everything sort of slows down and you're spinning around. That was how it kind of felt. They said our names and I sort of looked at Matt and was like, should we get up? And we get up and there's, you know, people are clapping, you know, and there was Jack Lemmon and Walter Matthau presented it to us, and, you know, Billy Crystal was hosting and he was going, Matt and Ben, and, you know, I was 24 years old. I mean, I barely knew anything at all. And it was, you know, I mean, I think it was in some ways trouble to get that much attention that young, and I really didn't have any perspective on it at all. It was a wonderful honor, but it was, you know, I certainly appreciated later on much more what it meant.
And was there a kind of thing where people thought you were that character?
Yeah, I think people thought that Matt was the math genius and then I was his sort of dim-witted friend he dragged along from home. You know what I mean? They were like, you give him an Oscar too. All right, guy. You know, and that stayed with me for a while. You're all right too. You can go ahead. You know.
So being back at the Oscar podium for Argo, that must have been such a kind of, what a satisfying
hopefully
moment.
no one thought I was a dim-witted friend anyway. I don't know. Yeah, no, it was much more satisfying. And I had been through so much stuff, so many ups and downs and humiliations and highs and lows. And you know, at that point I had 3 children and I had built a whole life, and it felt like something that was much more, I appreciated it, and I really felt like I also knew what it meant and what it didn't mean, you know what I mean, and that what was important about it and what wasn't, and it was a really nice night, and I got to share with people that I really loved, and it was probably a much more healthy experience.
And it is a full musical. I mean, it's
Just throw that in the mix.
It's got, you know, not just songs, but big choreographed pieces, and, you know, Selena, obviously, you are a pop star, being a pop star. Was it kind of very comfortable going back into that world of singing and dancing?
No, because this was completely different. It was intricate dance moves that I never knew my body could do. And it was also me playing a character, so if anything, I tried to avoid what I was comfortable with.
And Zoe, dance, I didn't realize that dance was your big thing. That was what we did before everything else.
Yeah, so I started out as single digits. I was 9, almost 10 when I started dancing.
Wow.
I was the same, by the way. I knew we had something in common.
I love that.
I've got some music now.
Let's do it. No, but I did it for like 10 years, and right when I was, you know.
This was ballet. This was
ballet, classical,
ballet.
And then interpretive dance, right? Those point shoes and the tutu. I can totally tell.
Those days.
Taylor and Bono, have you worked together? No.
Not yet. We're going to talk about it later.
Okay. But Bono, you did a very nice thing when Taylor got to Ireland.
I'm a Swiftie.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a Swiftie. You know, we're highly aerial birds, you know, and over the years we become, you know, we've bumped into each other and been friends.
He doesn't want to take credit for the fact that he's so nice. He sent me roses when I played in Dublin.
Yeah.
So he doesn't want to take credit for doing
Reds, roses, you know.
He's a truly great person.
You know.
You sent us a picture. There you go. Your Irish fan club, Bono the Edge, Adam Nutt.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
And he's just that great and thoughtful. Just the best there is.
I better have a drink.
And here's the thing. So Bono and Taylor not worked together, but weirdly, Taylor and Eddie, you have worked together.
We have.
Oh, wow, yeah.
It was a decade ago.
I once died in his arms in a screen test for Les Mis.
Oh, wow. I did not know this.
Yeah,
I did not know this.
There's a lot that people don't know about this story. Basically, I was auditioning for 2 roles in Les Mis, and I'd done a few auditions and gone to New York and whatever, and I think it had been established that I had more of a look of Cosette, but I had the range vocally of Eponine. So it was established that, like, I was there for a good time, not a long time. I wasn't gonna get this role. But they were like, you know, do you want to come to London for one last screen test and you'll get to screen test with Eddie Redmayne? I'm like, this seems like an experience I want to have in my life. You're like one of my favorite actors. You're so ridiculously talented. And I was like, so yeah, I'll go to London. Like,
Yes, indeed.
so I get there, and they're like, okay, so we really want to like make you look like Eponine. We're gonna try to do it's the, you know, she wasn't like loaded. She had brown teeth. You know, like she didn't have a lot of money, so.
A 19th century street urchin.
Yes, exactly. I'm trying to say it in a way that makes sense, but.
She didn't floss.
Exactly. So they were like, we're actually gonna paint your teeth brown for this. And I'm like, so you're gonna do that after I meet Eddie Redmayne, right? That's not something you do before. I get to meet people and then you do the brown teeth. They're like, no, it's this is just everybody's gonna meet you with the brown teeth, and we're gonna like do like big circles under your eyes, like you're near death. And I was like, this has immediately become a nightmare for me. And so then I had, you know, you were so nice, but I think when I met you, I was like, it's so nice to meet you.
What was hilarious was, you know, as you walked in as a 19th century French street urchin. And I was not expecting that, but my overwhelming memory of it, Taylor, was I'd just been to Pizza Express beforehand, and I'd had some garlic dough balls. Oh, no. I thought we were going to be singing off at each other, you know, but they had us. Also, it was so weird, because Taylor was dressed fully as Eponine, and I was, like, in my tracksuit. And they had us on the floor, like, singing Sweet Nothings into each other, and all I knew is I just had garlic bread.
And I had brown teeth, so we're just
It was one of these, it was like trying to show emotion whilst at the same time not to punish you.
You were weeping, and I just thought it was because of how I looked. I felt so bad. You're like, I have to be close to her right now. This is, yeah.
Oh, this was not the method, no?
No. It's nice to hear we were both struggling in that moment.
Exactly. It was a beautiful audition.
And Andrew and Paul, of course, you're currently joined at the hip, doing all your promo for All of Us Strangers.
Yeah.
But you seem like you're having a good time. You're enjoying it.
We see that show.
Oh, good actors.
And we are having a great old time.
But here's the thing. Andrew, you've helped Paul. You've given him advice on posing for pictures on red carpets.
You have.
I know. I think it only works for men.
I can't remember what the advice is.
Oh, can you not?
No.
Can you?
I use it every single time.
We'll demonstrate that in a moment. Yes.
I can describe it in. The first time I met Andrew was we did a charity comedy sketch. And it was before normal people came out, and I was petrified of people taking photos on a red carpet. And I was like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do with my hands. Where do I put my feet?
Oh, yeah.
And Andrew was like, you walk up to the mark, you walk past the mark, you rock back onto your left foot, and you kind of just lean back. Yeah.
God, I wish I followed my own
One
advice.
hand.
Yeah, well, you do the...
A sort of creepy little hand in the...
Yeah,
creepy. Yeah.
Let's see how Paul is doing as a pupil. Here's Andrew giving the classic.
Yeah, that's it.
There we go. So it's one hand in mint. Let's see how Paul's doing. Very good. Beautiful. Now that's more of a casual look. Now let's go with black tie. Let's see how they're doing in black tie. Yeah. Here's Andrew. Now,
very good.
Andrew's only managed to squeeze 4 fingers in. No more.
Yeah.
Let's see. I think you'll be very pleased with Paul in this one. Full fist. Full fist. Well done. And we've got one more. There are loads of these.
There's definitely...
Look at that. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Now, you may be annoyed with Paul here because he's gone a bit rogue. What's that about?
That's a mistake. I strayed from the game plan. Look how big my hand looks.
Tina Fey, geek no more, because in your new movie Sisters, you play the wild child.
I do. I played. We're sisters who were kind of opposite of each other, and I opted to play the wrecking ball. This woman who's a single mom, and she's a sort of trashy hairdresser, and yeah, because I never get to play stuff like that. And also, the nice thing about the movie, we play sisters, Amy and I, and my character is a wild woman who's trying to reform herself. So it's almost like if I were in a film where it's like, I was the greatest ice skater of all time, but now I'm in this wheelchair. You hear a lot about how hot I was and how many drugs I did, but I don't do any of it in the film. And then Amy's character is the more uptight caregiver one, and she's kind of cutting loose over the film, and that's better casting because she's the one you want to see go completely off the chain by the end of the film.
It opens here tomorrow, I'll have you know, and it is really, really funny.
Thanks.
And you and Amy, you are best friends or just good friends?
We're very, very good friends. We live on opposite sides of the country now, and so the only time we get to hang out is when we work together. So that's the main reason we keep trying to do it. But yeah, we've known each other for over 20 years. We met in Chicago doing improv, and Amy likes to say that our friendship is as old as Lourdes Chacon, as old as Madonna's daughter. I say it's as beautiful. And so yeah, so we've done weird things. We've done jobs where we were, touring sketch comedy in a van for $75 a show, and then we've done Saturday Night Live. We used to do the fake news, and then we've done the Golden Globes together. So we always have these weird gigs, but we just always say yes so we can hang out.
And what I think is adorable is your kids aren't bored of you because they're watching old episodes of Parks and Recreation.
Well, I think they are. I think they are really bored of me. I mean, they enjoy the men on that show. They really like the male characters on that show. But it was really cool to go back and watch it with them. And I think a lot of people watched Parks and a lot of comedy during this. They went back to their comfort shows that they could depend on. And I heard from a lot of people that Parks was one of them, which was so awesome, so cool.
But then I heard you say that actually, when you were watching it, suddenly a lot of the plots mirror things that are happening.
Yes, there's a bunch of episodes where the town has to be shut down because there's like a flu going around, and there's one episode where we have to kind of do this fake training of what would happen if the entire country got bird flu. And of course, my character just, loses her mind and makes terrible decisions. But when I was watching it, I was like, wow, this is hitting close to home. This is a little too real.
Wow. And of course, the show was so successful, real politicians wanted to be on it. And, well, you got to work with now President Biden.
Yes, we got to go to the White House and film with him, and it was really, really fun and exciting because we only had a few minutes because he had other things, more important things to do.
It's like Madame Tussauds. In that picture, you look so happy. You don't look real. It's like waxwork.
The thing about me, Graham, is I'm such a poker face. You never know how I'm feeling. You never know. It's like I'm staring right into the camera. Yeah, it was very, it was so nerve-wracking because we only had a short amount of time, and so we had to really get it. And so they were very nice because I improvised quite a bit in that scene, and he went with it.
But he didn't go as far as you were going to go.
Well, I think I did a moment where my character, Leslie, leaned in to try to kiss him. And his reaction is very, very genuine, which is like, what are you doing? But I didn't get arrested, which I appreciated at the time.
That's good. Let's talk about Ocean's 8. Ocean's 8. It's already been a huge smash in America, so congratulations to you. That's fantastic.
Thank you.
And it's everything you want from kind of a heist movie. It's a big, clever crime caper
You got to
thing.
stop saying big around women.
Sorry, I'll say.
Grand. Grand.
Exactly.
It's a grand heist film.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things, I'd sort of forgotten how much I enjoy heist films.
Yeah.
It's great. Really,
What
really
did you
terrific.
enjoy about it?
Wow. What did you like about it?
moment? Just out of interest.
It was all the bits with you in.
Oh,
yeah.
Just the answer you were after.
Stealing stuff. Have you ever stolen anything, may I ask?
I bet he has. I bet you have too. Yeah.
Well, I remember I did steal a kind of Fun for pencil case when I was very small, but then my mother.
Fun
Do you still
for a
have it?
pencil case?
Yeah, it's
Are you
Ireland.
wearing it now?
Yeah. No. But then my mother did that thing of marching me back to the shop. And I had
My
to
mother
get
did the
back.
same thing. I had
It's
to
so
really
humiliating.
damaging.
Yeah.
That's why we're all here today.
Now, Sandra, you play Debbie Ocean, so
Yes.
tell us more.
Movie starts as I get out of prison. I've been in prison for 5 years.
8 months and 12 days.
And I've had all that time to hatch this plan. I go find my best friend, Lou, who's a
Oh, I thought
awesome...
that was me.
No.
I thought that was me. I thought it was me.
Your bestie
Bestie number 2.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
And I go find Lou and then find the other ladies, and it's a great film, and then we steal something, and it's awesome.
It is awesome. And so let's work down the line. So Lou is best friend and...
second best friend.
Best friend and
She rides a motorcycle. Who is
Yeah.
she? Who is she?
she's well, because you've been inside for a long time. I mean, your character's been inside.
I've been inside
She
the
needs
clink.
my characters.
I've been
who
in
runs
jail.
a nightclub. She needs her contacts.
Okay.
So
And on the face of it, you're like a housewife, a happy housewife.
Yeah, but the second
This is
best friend,
amazing,
and
Gina.
second best friend, it's no big deal. Yes, I'm a housewife. I used to work with Debbie a long time ago. Clearly,
Obviously, we were
yeah,
best friends.
Yeah, we were
They
best
were
friends,
more
and
than
then
best
someone came
friends.
in and
Best
like
friends.
took it, and that's fine. Yes, and I have some children that I happily leave to go make some money. Yeah.
Emma, you've done British before.
Yes.
And was it Olivia Colman that's kind of given you tips?
Oh, well, because on The Favourite, that was the first time I had properly done an entire film, you know, with a British accent, and it was, you know, jarring because I was the only American in that cast, and Olivia was so helpful, and I would check in with everybody all the time because everybody was British. And she was like, you know, it's really good if you can say, I can't even do it now. Bottle. There's like a, in the back of your, you know, when you do a double T and it's like, can you say? Bottle. Well, Bottle. you're saying bottle. What did she want you to say? She had a kind of, you know, bottle.
Bottle.
Well,
bottle.
like
bottle of beer.
No, not bottle.
Oh, not bottle.
Not that, like bottle. Bottle. Bottle.
We can't do it.
Bottle.
I can't. Oh my God, I'm doing it so much better than you guys.
Whoa.
I can do a British accent. But that's always been in my head. And she was like, oh, it's fine. Bottle, it's fine. Which it is, clearly.
Yeah.
But no, I've always had it in my head. And then I did a British accent in Cruella. And then in this, again, I can't stop. I'm obsessed with you guys.
Yeah.
Obsessed.
So, because now, what was your big break? Was it
Where are we going
Vogue,
with this?
Esquire?
I think all of the above.
Talk about your modeling. Talk about it.
Or was it, in fact?
You want me
and
to talk
actually,
about my modeling?
No.
I think he's about to talk about my modeling.
Yeah,
my
no,
God, do you have pictures?
because he did. You look at these. Like, it's hard to make a jumper sexy.
True that.
But
Jumper,
I think he's managed it. Has wool ever looked hotter?
I mean, seriously.
Here's the thing. Your sweater has eyeballs.
That was a high point. But I think you
my
can actually still buy that, and it's the point of that is you can learn to knit it yourself. So you guys can take one of those home and knit it yourself.
Right, so I can buy the sweater, and then I have to do it myself as well.
No, actually, there's a classic thing in here. So, you know, when you want something for Christmas and you say to, like, your mum or your granny, something, oh, I'd really like a really trendy sweat top. I'd like a really nice, trendy, zippy up set top. And then they knit it for you. No!
Yeah, that's the Christmas nightmare.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
But you still do some modelling, don't you?
Sporadically and very unsuccessfully.
Oh, stop it! You do big brands.
What I did do, I did a campaign for Burberry, which was very amazing, and I did it a few years ago, and Mario Testino shot it. Oh. And I remember doing it was when I was just starting out, and in this photograph there was a model and me, an actor, wannabe actor, and a musician. And Mario Testino, who I'd never worked with, who is one of the most extraordinary, brilliant people, but he's just almost, in that moment, he was almost like a sort of parody of himself. So we had to run and jump for the photograph. And he goes, he's literally got the camera there, and he goes, OK, so darling, you supermodel, you rock star, Eddie, you movie star, I'm Mario Testino, and 1, 2, 3, go! And I left in the air. These two sort of pros, and me with this. But he gets the photos because they're so natural, ones of sort of shock and minor despair and wonder, I think, at the same time.
Because you
don't have my pictures.
No, I don't, because...
And I'll tell you why.
Yes, tell us why, because it's a really amazing job to get.
I was an Abercrombie model.
Get in. Abercrombie & Fitch, ladies and gentlemen, yeah.
Don't make your hoots. Please tell me the story.
Preemptive hoots.
So my pictures never came out. I did like the whole campaign, and the pictures never came out, and I didn't know why. And my agent wrote and asked why, and they literally only responded with the photos. Because they, like, their whole, like, idea was, like, we want real people. So they, you know, they, like, got, I don't know, we were, like, on a beach, and then they threw us a football, and they're like, play football. And all the other models were like,
playing football like in a pretty way, you know, like, and not me. I was all of the photos. I've got a red face, covered in sweat. My nostrils are flared. I'm like, "Ah!" in the back of a picture. And like at one point, a girl yelled, "Just get her away from me." Well, you won't see them in a store, that's for sure.
Now, Jennifer, in her beginnings, we went to the same...
As a prostitute. It's a boring story. You all know that story. I've told it so often. You can ask me how Dawn and I met.
Well, no, I know how you met.
In the whorehouse. In the little whorehouse. In the little whorehouse.
You
and then we got taken up by the Chinese gangmaster and brought over here and sold to Paul Raymond. I've told that story 100 times.
Yeah, but what I didn't know was that back in the early days when you were at college, you and Dawn lived together.
Not in a lesbian way.
No! I didn't start that rumor. You started that rumor.
You started
my
it.
friend. But you did live together in a non-sexual way.
Yeah, in a flat with lots of people.
Oh, there were lots of you?
Yes!
Ah!
It wasn't just me and my friend.
But...
No, there was lots of us in there, about five or six of us in there.
Ah, so, because the tricks you played with each other, did you play tricks on everyone then?
No, we just made each other laugh. They didn't care.
Oh,
they
right.
just walked through the tricks. They didn't care. We were very juvenile.
Were the two of you quite annoying as
They all had
flatmates?
proper jobs, you know, and they used to go off in the morning, and we used to, like, hide in the laundry basket and pop out on them. And we used to try and make sort of severed head-looking things out of cabbages and bang them on their windows, dropping them from below. It was tragic, and it became my career. Just making a fool of myself.
I like it. Because was it in Death in the Nile?
Yes.
They wanted you to be an American.
Yes, we were cast, Jennifer and I were cast as two Americans in that film. In fact, I was playing the part that Maggie Smith played in the original part. Miss Bowers, who is the nurse companion to Jennifer. No spoilers. Cool. But you know what I mean, lick you up the legs. Anyway.
Spoiler.
Yeah, spoiler. Major spoiler. But yeah, we, Sir Kenneth of the Branagh cast us as two Americans, and we went to the read-through, and you know we were trying very hard at the accent. And when Fatty, who's Jennifer, me, when she started, I thought, yeah, well done. She's sounding really good. I thought we're going to pull this off, and I did mine. I took a deep breath and gave it the full Yankee Doodle, and everyone, no, never. And so everybody was very happy, and we went off and we started. We were due to start filming on the Monday. That was the Friday, and I got a phone call 5 minutes after I'd got in with one of the producers going, Dawn, we've had a little rethink, and I thought, oh no, I've been sacked. They want Lumley because that's happened to me before. But she said, we're thinking you should play it English. So, haven't been sacked, just rubbish at the accent. I can't do any accent. I can do a bit of West Country, because that's, that's where I'm from. Yeah. But really, almost everything else. You know, like people who think they can sing and they really can't. Right. Which I'm also one of those. But I really can't do accents, so I admire anybody who can. I really do admire it.
Because reading interviews between you, it's unclear. Like, do you get on set, or do you genuinely kind of annoy each other?
That's my best friend.
Okay.
Say it. Say it. Come on, man. Say it. We're in the UK. Say it. Let them know how you feel. Best friend touch. Come on, man. Come on, man. There it is. Yeah. My best friend.
But didn't he steal your catchphrase?
He always steals everything. You know, when people see me, they be like, yo, Q, yeah,
Hey. Do it, good. I'm not gonna say that.
So I say, hey, Q, yeah.
Hey.
That's so weak. It has no flavor to it.
We're brothers. We're best friends.